Hello everyone. Welcome back to Firestorm Freerunning Acrobatics YouTube channel for our series Firestorm at Home. I am Coach Summer and you are here for Artemis apparently, but you are mostly here so we can get you all flexy and get your body moving with AcroFlex. It is already episode number 27. Holy cow, very holy cow. We are always so glad that you guys are with us as our Firestorm family, or even just people who are supporting us from far. You guys don't know what to do at this time of shelter in place, stay at home, but we are glad you guys are joining us. If you don't know me, I am Coach Summer. I am the general manager of our Moreno Valley location of Firestorm. We do have 3 locations, which is our Santa Ana location, which is Firestorm Prime, Firestorm Galaxy, which is our Moreno Valley location, and opening as soon as this is all over, Firestorm Ultra, which is our Westminster location. We are all in Southern California. If you guys don't know us, but if you guys do know us, I'm so glad that you guys are joining us. Today you won't be needing much. It's basically just giving you a full body stretch, but focusing on your straddle and your splits. We are going to be moving throughout the whole thing, so we're going to have a fun time. I do have long hair myself. One of the things I noticed as well is that my hair gets in the way, so if you do have a rubber band, I usually keep one on my wrist, but put your hair up. If you're even a boy with long hair, it can get in the way. I don't want you guys slipping or falling or placing your hand or foot on anything, so we want to make sure that you guys are utmost safe, as well as you have cleared your space and have moved anything that's in the way. We're going to move them out of the way. If you have siblings or pets or, other people in your household that are doing things, obviously, you want to make sure that they don't get hurt, but also that you don't get hurt as well. So make sure that your space is clear. This is a time for you. And let's get started. So we're going to start with our feet hip width distance apart, actually a little bit wider than hip width distance. And we're just going to have our head fall to our chest, chin to chest. We're going to take a couple deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. You're going to start rolling out that neck. Your right ear and your right shoulder are going to connect. And you're going to roll your head all the way back, looking up at the ceiling, rolling your head to the left, your ear and shoulder connect, and all the way back down to your chin. We're going to continue this 5 more times, all on your own count. And once you reach your last head circle, we are going to go the opposite direction. When you're going to change that direction is when your chin falls to your chest on your last one. I would hate for you guys to change directions in a way that's a little too wonky for your neck. I always want you guys to be safe. So again, once that chin falls to the chest of your last one, that is when you rotate it in the opposite direction. So left side I'm going now. And once we're done, our head is going to fall to the chest, and we're just going to stay there. So wherever our last one is, head's going to fall to your chest. And if you are already feeling a stretch in the back of your neck without just looking down, if you want a little extra stretch though, you can intertwine your fingers and place them on the back of your head or the top of your neck, just for some added pressure. Beautiful job. Right ear to right shoulder. On that left hand, the opposite hand or opposite side, you're going to press down on the table, and you're going to flex those fingers up. So push through your palms and try and flex those fingers up. If you want a little bit more additive weight, you can place your hand on your head. You're not pulling your head down, but just a little bit of weight. And release the hand on your head if you chose that. Release the table and rotate down so we can go to our opposite side. job. Hand coming up, that chest and that chin are going to connect. You're going to look straight ahead, and we're going to do our backwards shoulder rolls. We're keeping our arms by our sides for right now. So backward shoulder rolls. And forwards. Beautiful job. Our arms are going to stretch outright so we kind of look like a starfish just a little bit. Having our legs a little bit apart is totally fine. If you feel more comfortable keeping them together, you totally can. But what we're going to do is with our middle fingers that are outstretched to either side is we're going to do little circles going forward. So we don't want these to be bigger than a cupcake. Yes, I am using food analogies while we're working out. But you don't want it to be any bigger than the diameter of a cupcake, so super, super small, little circles going forward. Remembering to breathe as well. And let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's do about the size of a pie. Fingertips coming forward. Definitely should feel a little bit more in your shoulders. And then let's do a lot bigger, like a giant, like those cookie sheets that you see from like Mrs. Fields, those giant circle flat cookies. We want those to come forward. If you notice, I'm not going very fast with these bigger arm circles. I am feeling this throughout my entirety of my shoulders, so I do choose to go slower. And stopping where you're at. If you want to go backwards, that would be awesome. We're going to go backwards that same size. You should feel some pressure in your shoulders. Oh my goodness, but so good for it. All right, let's go down to a pie. I really want pie. Maybe we'll make our own like chocolate cream pie. That'd be awesome. All right, and then let's do our small cupcake ones. Woo, I'm already sweating with those. Oh my goodness. All right, and those arms by your side, shake them out. Shake out your wrists as well. Those are always a fun time. And let's go through rolling out our wrists. I like to have my hands out in front of me, and I almost guide with my pinky fingers. Rotating my wrists, I rotate them inward towards my body. My wrists definitely click a lot. And then let's go outward, so away from your body. Warming up those wrists, we will be spending a lot of time using our wrists and our hands and our forearms to support us from whatever poses we get into. Always we want to make sure our body is properly warmed up so we don't cause any injuries, especially if you're like, I wasn't even working on that. But did you warm it up, is the question. Aha. All right, let's do our torso twist. I'm going to keep my feet planted and my hips squared off to the front. I'm not going to move my hips with my torso twist. I'm going to try with all my might, but I'm going to have my hands right here at chest length. I can have my fists, my fingers balled into fists, and I'm going to turn all the way to the left and back to the right. And I'm just going to go back and forth, making sure that my hips aren't necessarily moving with my torso choice, but if there is a little bit of a jolt, I shouldn't feel too bad. Ooh. All right, beautiful job. Facing forwards, we're going to give a little bit of stretch to our sides, now that we kind of gave our spine a little bit of a wake-up call, but we're going to go up and over to our right side. So my right arm and my right leg are going to connect. My left arm, however, is going to be the one that is on top. You guys have done this with me before. Stretch over to the side. I don't want my body to be hunching forward. I don't want it to be all the way back, but I want to be straight over to the side. So if I was trying to sneak behind like the fridge or like sneak behind something in a little sliver of a walkway space. That is where I want to be. And using that top arm to come up and switch over to the opposite side. Beautiful job. Bring that arm up. And beautiful. So we're going to add in a little bit of balancing to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my feet from being hip width distance apart or shoulder width, and I'm going to find where my center or my balance is. If you're located near a wall or maybe near a chair or something that you can maybe nudge to help you find that balance, you're more than welcome to. I know with some of us, balance doesn't necessarily come naturally. It definitely didn't for me either, so I definitely had to work. I'm going to start off with my bad leg first, so I can feel good about myself on the other leg. My left leg is going to be on the ground. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right knee into my chest, and I'm going to intertwine my fingers right below my knee, and I'm going to roll out my ankle right here while balancing. If you need to grab onto a wall or that chair to help your balancing, you don't want to put all of your weight onto it because you eventually do want to balance on your own. And rotating the opposite direction. Ooh. If you need to stick out a hand to keep your balance, that's also more than okay. But I do want you to balance on that left leg. It helps to fixate on an object that is not moving. Right now I'm looking at the Nerf bullets that are on the ground. And beautiful, we're going to switch sides. So now your opposite leg, the leg that you're holding onto, is going to be placed down onto the ground. It's my right leg. And now my left leg is coming up from my left knee. I'm going to rotate that ankle in one direction. And rotating in the opposite direction. Beautiful job, friends. I'm going to place my feet back onto the mat. We're going to go wider than shoulder width distance apart. My toes are still going to be going forward. They're not going to be turning out into my first position. But what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to go into a very deep and very slow squat. Usually our squats are quick because we're going to do like 10 or 50 of them. But we're just going to do one right now, and we're going to slowly control our movement going down. I'm going to put most of my pressure in my heels. So my hands are going to be in front of me, intertwined or prayer hands, doesn't matter. And I'm slowly going to bend my knees forward. I want to think of it like I'm doing a slow motion squat. So I'm feeling where my weight and my pressure is on my feet. It's not in my toes. It's on my heels. I'm keeping my chest up until I am the lowest I can be without dropping my hips too low. We're just going to wait here for a sec. What's on your fur? There you go. Beautiful job. Your elbows can find the inside of those legs. If you need to turn out your feet for that, that's totally okay. This is where I tend to rock my hips or my knees or my body side to side. I am warming up or opening up the inside of those legs, those hips. Beautiful job. So from where you're at, you want to stop your rocking. If you decide to rock, you're going to place your hands on the mat below you, and you're going to shift your hips up. My heels turn back out, and going forward as much as you can. Yeah, buddy. And we're going to go into another deep squat. So bend those knees forward. Raise your chest up. And stick those hips up again. Woo-wee. Oh, yes. So from your fold over right here, I'm going to bend my left leg and straighten out my right leg. My toe is going to turn up towards the ceiling, and I'm going here into my side lunge. So right now my heel is off the ground on my left side. I am tilting my body over a little bit too much. I want to make sure that my heel It's going to be on the ground. That is easier for me because I have been working at it a little bit longer, but if you want to slowly see where your heel is going, try and get it as close as you can to the ground. If you realize, oh, like if I place it on the ground, I tip over, do it to the place where you're not going to tip over. Just hang out right where you're at. You're so in love with me, aren't you? Alright, that opposite leg, that leg that is not bent, should be flexed. And we're going to point it out. That might tilt you over to the side. That's totally okay. We're going to flex and point through that movement. Alright, last flex. Point out that foot. And we're going to rotate toward the opposite side. I use my hands to kind of transfer my weight over to the opposite side. And I'm going to hang out here. Ooh. And you just popped. And same thing, we're pointing and we're flexing through that opposite leg. Alright, so wherever you're at, you're going to find your booty all the way to the ground, and you're going to hold out into your straddle. I do want you to be a little bit wider than what your natural straddle is, so our hips and our legs are engaged. So for me, if you can see, I am pushing my hips forward and kind of finding that place that I feel is giving me that not natural straddle, but at least a comfortable straddle of where I am at. So I'm going to point out my toes through this. I tend to grab the inside of my knees because that is where I feel like it is holding me back from my middle splits a lot. I do need to roll out the inside of my legs though. I know that for sure. But I do tend to hold on to my knees so they don't turn inward. Whatever you need to do, more than welcome to do it. So I'm pointing my toes and I'm flexing. Can I help you? And pointing and flexing and pointing out again. And last time flex. And point out those toes. We're going to do our Tic Tocs. We're going to go from one leg to the other leg. My hands are going to be behind my head. My chest is going to be up. And I'm going to dip my elbow behind my knee in one side, come back up, and to the other side. So we're going to go back and forth like that. Your elbow doesn't have to touch all the way to the ground, but if you can, that's awesome. If you're not even close to your legs, that is totally okay. But our end goal is to get our elbows to touch behind the ground, behind our knee. Remember to breathe through this, guys. All right, and slowly coming up. Woo, how'd that feel? Maybe a little bit dizzy. I definitely get dizzy during then, but I promise you we're not going to be rocking back and forth anymore. We are, however, going to turn towards our leg of our choice. You can start off with your left, you can start off with your right. Doesn't matter to me, but we do want to do both sides. So I am looking at my right leg, and I'm going to have a flat back over that right leg. So I'm going to hold in my core and my abs. I'm going to turn towards that leg so I'm squared off towards it. And I'm going to try and get my chin to touch my knee and my nose to touch my toes. If I want my nose to touch my knee, then I'm hunching my back and I'm only going that far. If I'm aiming to have my chin to my knee and my nose over my toes, I am actively stretching out that leg. There is no end goal for this because you can't get your nose to your toes unless you bend your leg or unless you have really, really short legs. And we're going to do the same with the opposite side. All right, beautiful job, friends. We are coming out of that. We are going to go straight down the middle with a flat back. I don't want you guys rounding out your backs. Having an arched back is totally fine though, but don't round that back. So if you start to feel like you're rounding it and you're only right here, back it up to where you feel like your spine is straight. I just want you guys to come down with proper form. It doesn't matter how low you get. I want to make sure that you're doing it correctly and that we're not fixing on these bad habits later. I know you can definitely get used to some bad habits and you have to untrain what you have learned to get it correctly. So wherever you're at with a flat back, this is our first middle stretch that we're going to do in this episode right now. So we are going to visit this again. So if your first one is just warming up those hips and making sure that they're awake, that is totally okay. And down here, wherever you're at, if you're in a pancake, if you're where I'm at, or if you're higher than where I'm at, that's totally okay. We are going to point and flex our toes. So pointing at our toes and flexing and pointing, flexing and pointing at those toes. Ooh. And flexing and point. And last time, flex. See if you can go a little bit deeper, even if it's just like an inch or half an inch, just a little bit deeper. Beautiful job, guys. Start to slowly come back. Wiggle your legs together as much as you can until you are in your pike stretch or your forward pike. I'm going to have my toes pointed out here. I'm going to reach my arms up straight over my head, and I'm going to come up and over and trying to grab my toes, my ankles, my legs, wherever the farthest I can grab on my legs is. All right, beautiful job, friends. And let's go into our warm-up. So I am going to have to move Sir Artemis. I'm sorry, Bubby. I know the yoga mat is so comfortable for naps, but we are getting our bodies moving. We actually are going to start off on the ground, and then we're going to finish off standing up. So from here on the ground, we're still in our pike stretch. I want you to articulate your spine going down. We're going to move vertebrae by vertebrae, making sure that our spine and our back is getting awake and ready for what's about to go down. So here in my pike stretch, I'm not going to be reaching for my toes, but I'm going to be hovering over my toes. I'm going to tuck my tailbone underneath, and I'm going to curve out my spine. I'm going to make sure that the last thing that is going to be touching the ground is actually my fingertips. So one by one, I'm slowly going to curve until the last thing is my fingertips. Beautiful job, friends. From here, we are going to bring our legs to the sky. It's going to be a fun time. Our legs are going to come to the sky. We're going to point through those toes. I'm going to lift my shoulders and my shoulder blades and my head off the ground, and I'm going to try and reach my toes. You are totally okay to flex your feet. If they're pointed, that is a challenge that you can do yourself. I'm going to do the flex toes because I can actually touch my toes. So lifting up, if you want to hold the back of your knees to start to get that feeling of what does it feel like to have my shoulders off the mat, that is what it's going to be. And you're just going to tuck up. This is definitely an ab workout, but it is going to warm you up rather quickly. We're going to do 25 of those. You're going to count in your head. I will count out loud, but if you want to count out loud, that's totally fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Knees into your chest. Oh my goodness. A little bit of a heat, that's totally okay, but I might make it a little more worse. So what I'm going to have you do is you are going to have your hands in a diamond shape. So your thumb and your fingers are creating a triangle, not really a diamond, but you are going to place this under your hips or slightly above your tailbone. So this is going to be some relief of pressure from your back, but we are going to do our leg raises here. So wherever you need to do, triangle, behind your hips, wherever you feel like, oh, my hips are digging into the ground right there, that's where I want your hands to be. Your legs are going to come up, and we're going to do 10 leg lifts. Sound good? I want pointed toes for these. So pretty pointed toes. Have those legs engaged. You can keep your shoulders and your chest on the ground. If you want to give yourself a little bit extra of a challenge, you can lift up and lift your shoulder blades up and your head up. But you can leave your head on the ground. All right, give me 10. Remember to breathe. 2, 3. Your feet aren't touching the ground. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful job, friends. Take those hands out from behind your back. You're going to flip over to your stomach, and we are going to go into a variation of our planks. So it's going to feel a little bit more like a push-up, but trust me, I hate push-ups. So we're not going to do a full-on push-up, but we are going to come down to our elbows. So I'm not going to get into my push-up right now, but what you want to be doing is we are going to start off on our elbows, and we're going to hold our plank here for a little bit, and then we're going to push ourselves up onto one hand, the other hand, and come down with your elbow. So we're going to go through this motion right here. If you feel like that is a little bit too much for you, I want you to hold out your plank and your elbows. If that is even a little bit too much for you, you can rest your knees on the mat. We do want to keep challenging you. We don't want to make workouts too easy because then you're not really working out. So we are going to go into our plank, starting off on our elbow plank. I know you want to cuddle, but I'm working. All right, coming down into our elbow plank. Ready, and holding it out. You're giving me incentive not to crush you. Thank goodness. All right, we're going to come up onto our hands in 3, 2, 1. All right, hold out your plank. All right, last one. Up on your hands, back down. All right, hold it out. And rest those knees on the ground. Take it back into your child's pose. All right, and we are going to come to a standing. We are going to finish off our warm-up with some butt kickers. We're going to do butt kickers for about 30 seconds, and then we will be properly warmed up, and we're going to go into some deep stretch holds. We're going to be great. We are going to get water after this, after our warm-up. It's only 30 seconds. Cool? All right. Ready, and butt kickers, go! You gotta hold concerned I took off the mat.
Got about 10 seconds left.
Thank you. Whoo, my goodness gracious. All right, let's go grab some water and I'll meet you back on the mat. All right, friends, we're coming back. Woo! Hello. So I know sometimes our warm-up times may be a little bit more than what it was in the gym. Because we are not doing so much of crazy things, we are going into our warm-ups. I broke the internet. I'm sorry. That's the best I can do. But what I was saying before is sometimes our warm-ups and our mobility kind of stretches out that time that we generally did in our actual in-studio warm-ups and mobilities, because we are not there for you guys as much as we want to be, of correcting your form and, you know, explaining it while we're doing it. So we do want to go a little bit extra into explaining things and also going more into a warm-up because, you know, we haven't been moving as much as we originally would. And I know that takes its toll on you kind of physically, but also mentally. So we are here for you guys. If you guys comment, like, subscribe, anything like that, we are here for you guys. Even DMing us on our social media, we will respond to you guys because we care about you. Because you're a family. Yay. All right, so we're going to go into a little bit of deeper holds today. Kind of like our last episode with me. Coach Justin was nice enough to fill in for both Coach Freelove and I this past weekend. We did have some family things come up, but everything is okay. But thank you everyone who expressed any concern. We are here as a family and as a team, so it's awesome to have an awesome boss like Justin to help us out in our time of need. But we are going to come back to our mat. I'm going to move him again, as much as he doesn't like it. And we are going to come into a low lunge for your first one. I am going to start off on my bad leg, which is my left leg. So my left leg is going to come into a lunge forward. With this lunge, I don't want my knee to go over my ankle. I want them to line up. It's okay if it's a little bit under, but mostly I do want it lined up. And I'm going to tuck my back toes behind me, and I'm going to lift up into this lunge. I am going to find my balance and try and get my shoulders to be over my hips. From here, I'm going to hold this out for a little bit while, and then we're going to go into our knee dips. So when I'm going into my knee dips, or when we are going into our knee dips, my back knee is going to dip towards the ground, but it's not going to rest on the ground. Just a slight touch, and then it's going to shoot back up towards the ceiling. So we are going to do 5 of those. All right, so find your balance wherever you need it. And that back knee dips down, shoots back up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Beautiful job. We're holding that out for a little bit while longer. Hold, hold, hold. Try and open up that hip more. Try and get your hips closer to the ground and the back of your knee up towards the ceiling. All right, back knee coming down, flatten out that back foot, and we're gonna push our hips forward. Woo! My hands are gonna come on either side of my front leg, and I'm going to dip my hips back. My front foot is still pointed. My back foot is still on the top of the foot. It's not curled underneath. And I'm trying to get, again, my chin to touch my knee and my nose to my toes. From this front pointed foot, I am going to flex this foot up to intensify the stretch. If you want to give yourselves a little challenge, try and get your elbows to touch the mat when you're down here. Oh my goodness. Even that active stretch with your elbows towards the mat does deepen that stretch a little bit more. So if that stretch is a little too intense for you, don't bend those elbows. Just sit back here. Woo. All right, beautiful job. We are going to sit all the way back on that back heel. So that foot is going to be right underneath my bum, and my hips are going to come all the way back. My foot does lift up a little bit, so I'm not pulling the mat closer to me, but I am sitting on my back foot. I am going to stretch over this front leg still. I'm going to place my left hand on the ground, the same sided hand, and I'm going to grab with my opposite and try and get that flex to be a little bit more intense. Beautiful job. Placing that hand back, we're going to point out that toe, and we're going to come back into our very, very low lunge. Adjust wherever you need your adjustments. I'm going to put my hands on the inside of my leg. My feet and my toes are going to turn out, and I'm going to deepen my hips closer to the ground. If I'm comfortable up here on my hands, you can stay up here on your hands. If you want to deepen it a little more, come on down to your elbows. Push out that knee. All right, if you're here on your elbows, we're going to come back up onto our hands, and we are going to switch our legs. So that left leg is now going to come back, and my right leg is now going to come forward. So right leg forward, same thing from the other side. We're going to tuck our back toes underneath. We're going to lift up, and we're going to find our balance, and we're going to hold it out here before we go into our knee touches. Whew. All right, and going into our knee touches, remember we're not slamming our knee on the ground. We're just touching and then shooting it back up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Deepen those hips closer to the ground. All right, drop that knee, flatten out that back foot, drop those hips closer to the ground as much as you can. Hands on either side of that front leg. We're going to push our hips back, straightening out that front leg. Our front toe is still pointed right now. Try and get those elbows to the ground for that deeper stretch. All right, and flexing that front foot up. Woo. All right, and we're going to sit back on that back heel, so adjust wherever your hands need to be adjusted, and sitting all the way back. Flexed foot, reaching out over the front of that leg. That opposite hand's going to come up and hold that flex for a little bit of a deeper, more intense stretch. All right, letting go of that so we're going to come back into our low lunge. Same thing, those toes and that knee are going to angle outwards, and we're going to be here on the inside of that leg. And we're going to either stay up here on our hands or come down to our elbows for a deep stretch. Alright, if you're down here on your elbows, you're going to come back up to your hands. We are going to place that right leg back behind us, and we're going to come into our tabletop. Right here, we're going to go through some cat-cows just to give a little attention to our spine. So I'm here in my neutral table. I'm going to cat, which I'm going to arch the inside of my body, which is a hollow body. So I'm pushing through my shoulders, hollowing out the inside and rounding out my spine, and then I'm going to arch my back for my cow, and I'm looking up towards the ceiling, arching my back. And we're just going to move through these cat-cow poses. All right, beautiful job, friends. We're actually going to come lying on our backs. We're going to give a little bit of a deeper stretch onto those legs, but giving a rest to our wrists and our shoulders and our upper body. We're going to let gravity pretty much do the work of this, but we're not using a wall, so it's going to be a fun time. So I'm going to bring my left leg into my chest. This is my less practiced leg, so I usually like to start off with that bad one first. I'm going to have you grabbing underneath your leg or on the underside of your thigh. And what we're going to do here is with both toes pointed, including the leg that is outstretched, that top leg, you're just going to point up. Wherever you land, it could be a little bit further down, and then we're going to flex it and bring our foot down. So we're just going to flow through that point all the way up and flex all the way down. Point up, flex down. Beautiful job. We're going to do 4 more of those. And last one. Beautiful job. So right now our legs should be straight up and down in line with our body. What we're going to do now is we are going to turn that leg ever so slightly out. So it's going to be off the axis of your regular just body and just going to be slightly off to the side. Still grabbing underneath that thigh of yours, but now you are going to point and flex to the side. So I'm just ever so slightly out. My leg isn't all the way on the ground, but it's just ever so slightly in the middle. So same thing, point up, flex down. And this is all very slow movements. If you need to adjust your fingertips, like you're just trying to get your fingers apart, that is totally okay. We're going to do this for 2 more times. Beautiful job. We're going to do our opposite side. So my right leg is now going to come into my chest. Oof, I feel that in my inner legs. Again, grabbing underneath that thigh. I have my fingers intertwined and pointing all the way up and flexing on your way down. Alright, last last one here. And beautiful. So turning out that leg ever so slightly to the side, just like our other side, pointing all the way up and flexing down. Let's do 2 more. Last one. All right, beautiful job, my friends. Both knees are going to come into your chest, and you're going to rock and roll until you're all the way up. And once you're all the way up, you're going to stop on your tailbone. Ooh! Our feet are not resting. What we're going to do here is we're going to do some lovely little V-ups. Yay! So right here, your hands are usually grabbing onto your shins. You're going to have them by your sides. Straight out, flat fingers, that's totally fine. And then you are going to extend your legs. If just extending your legs is problem enough, come here and we're going to be totally good. If we can though, friends, we are going to extend our arms all the way up when we extend our legs. So coming right here and extending up and coming down. We are going to do 15 of those. So whether that's your hands just being here and you extending up, or you extending your arms with it, we're going to do 15 all on your own count. I'm going to count out mine, but I can't hear you, so I don't know what number you're at. So that's all on you. Ready and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, engage your core. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whoo! Holy cow. Let's go grab a drink of water, and I will meet you back here on the mat. And coming back to the mat, just a quick drink of water. I know that was a little intense, but I always don't want you guys to over drink when we're in the middle of our workouts. We are almost done. We're going to have some of our cool down stretches, and then you can drink all the water you want. I suggest a lot because even though it rained yesterday, that heat is coming back. But let's go down into our cool down stretches. So right now I'm in my crisscross applesauce. But I'm in the crisscross applesauce where I have one leg in front of the other. They're not stacked on each other just yet. So my right leg is in the front of my left leg. With my right leg, I am going to stretch all the way down in front of me. Beautiful job. I'm going to replace now my left leg in front of me all the way down. And coming up. What I'm going to be doing now is right now my left leg is in front of me. I'm going to give a little bit of a stretch to the side of my quad. So my right hand is going to come underneath my left leg, and it's going to cradle my left foot and my left shin into my chest. I want my sits bones to still be grounded on the ground, and I'm sitting straight up with a straight spine. I am bringing this leg closer to me I do feel it in the side of my quad here, but bringing in that knee is also going to be helpful. So it's almost like I'm treating my leg like a small child, a small baby. And bringing that leg down, we're now going to bring our right leg up to our chest, just like the other side. Beautiful job, guys. Right leg is going to come down. We're going to come into our butterfly stretch, so the heels are very, very close to my pelvis, and I'm going to wing out or flap out those wings like a beautiful butterfly. Oh, Bugs Land doesn't exist anymore for California Adventure. I like Bugs Land.
Very excited to see the Avenger campus.
That's very true. We're gonna get Coach Aaron to do handstands on everything. All right, and we're gonna stop flapping out those wings. That left hand's gonna find the left knee, and you're gonna turn towards the right side. And opposite side, right knee, right hand, turning to the left. And slowly start to come undone. We are going to move our legs into a diamond position. So our legs are going to outstretch just a little bit. Hi, Bubby. And we're going to come all the way down onto those feet. And slowly coming up. All right, friends, thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you guys got up and you got moving. We shall see you guys tomorrow for our Little Heroes class and our parkour class with Coach Freelove. It's going to be a fun time. We miss you guys. We hope to be opening soon. Right now, we do not have any official word yet of when things are opening, but once we do get the ball rolling and we at least know an estimated date, we will be sure to contact you guys. But we do have to take our precautionary measures and make sure that our staff and our family is safe, and also that your family is safe. We don't want to open prematurely, just because with the sports that we do, we are very involved. We spot, we sweat on each other, sometimes accidentally, sometimes on purpose. I remember last year Coach Freelove was drenched in sweat because he was attacking children with foam swords. We shall be attacking everyone with foam swords soon, but we do have to take a little bit of time off until it is safe to do so. Hopefully this wasn't the first movable thing that you did today, but if it is, I'm glad that I was able to start you up and get you motivated. Again, join us tomorrow for Little Heroes and Parkour with Coach Freelove. But other than that, I bid you adieu and hope you have a great day.